Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Creating Cards with Sherry. I'm Sherry, and I'm glad that you've chosen to visit my channel today. I promised you a couple more, or another video at least, on some more watercolor techniques. And so today we are going to do the Emboss Resist technique, and also using a block. We're going to do some water spritzing. So I'll explain all of that as we go along. This is a card that I had made with the embossing resist. And we're going to make something a little similar to that. I'm not going to go into great deal with it. I'm just going to show you the basics of how it's done. But in this particular card, I used the Cottage Rose stamp set, and my sentiment was from the Happiness Abounds. And then the colors I had used were Petal Pink, Soft Seafoam, Early Espresso, and Fresh Freesia. Okay? And also the Versamark. And the Versamark plays a very important part in doing one of these. So today I'm going to do one with the rich razzleberry and some old olive. I have a piece of our shimmery white paper. I have my aqua painters, and I'm using the stamp from the Happiness Abounds. I'm just using this one here. Okay? All right. So in order to do this, what I did with my original stamp is I stamped the image on the Versamark. Now the Versamark isn't really an ink. It's a sticky substance that you use that you can put onto your cardstock, and you don't really see it. I mean, if you were looking at it here, you could kind of see it, but you don't really see it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some embossing powder, and we're going to pour some powder on there, and then you will be able to see the image come to life a little bit. So I'm just going to pour this on. And as you see, it's all right. I think you can see it. But it's all right there. Maybe you can't see it real well, but you will in a little bit. All right. So I'm going to just put my tray aside. I'm going to walk over to the back where my heat gun is, and I'm going to quickly melt this so that you'll be able to see the image even better. Okay, unfortunately, I don't have extensions or plugins close enough to my table yet. We're still working on that part of my craft room, and so I had to walk off to the side. Now, I don't know if you can maybe kind of see this. Does that help? Anyway, what's going to happen is we're going to color this with our aqua painters, and when the ink hits the raised image, it will go right over it, and it's kind of neat how it lets it go. But you press the pads, or the top and bottom of your ink pad together, and then you just go right in there and you start to color. And I'm just going to do a real quick little edge in this olive green. And, oh, I forgot a paper towel. Here, I'll use my Kleenex. And I'm just going to wipe that off. I have a little bowl of water here that I can clean this up with real quick. All right. And then I'm going to take my rich raspberry, and again I'm going to squeeze my ink pad together to give me that spot in there that I can dab my brush in. And then I'm just going to start to color. And you see I'm going over all the different lines, but it resists those lines. So that you still get the detail of the flower. Isn't that cool? You can see the center of that come together. And this is how easy it is to do an embossing resist. And as that melts or dries, you'll see more and more of the details come out. Okay, and that's how they're done. It makes a beautiful picture, watercolor look that is just absolutely gorgeous, and you can do so many things with it. And if you are interested in any of the products that you see today, whether it be the aqua painters or the inks, or maybe those powders so that you can try and do an embossing resist yourself, just be sure to go to my store at creatingcardswithsherry.stampinup.net and you will be able to create something like this. Okay, another type of watercolor technique is a black spritzing. Okay, and that's what I'm going to show you with this type of card. Now I took the Versamark and I printed on the early espresso cardstock here, and it just created that image all around. So I didn't have to ink it up or anything. I just put the Versamark on it to make a little background with the card, and it turned out great. Now I'm going to show you how to get that watercolor technique on this. I'm going to use fresh freesia, pale papaya. I'll be using my early espresso, and I am using images from the Nothing's Better Than stamp set, and I am using my H block. So we're going to grab all these things together here. Whoop. Let me just put this back on here. Okay. All right. And what you do with this is you're just going to ink your block. So I'm going to do about half of it in fresh freesia. And the other half I'm going to do in pale papaya. These were part of last year's In Colors. And then I'm going to take my water spritzer and I'm going to spritz just 1 or 2 squirts of water on there so that the colors can blend together. And I'm going to press down and hold it for just a little bit. And then we're going to let that dry. And you can see the nice little watercolory pattern that it gives. I'm just going to dab this with my tissue so it dries quicker and I don't have ink just pooling in one area. But it makes it really cool as the colors blend together. It gives it a really creative watercolor look that is really fun to do and to see. Okay. I just want to make sure that that's dry enough. It doesn't take long to dry, but you want to make sure that you give it a minute or two. And then you can start to stamp the things that you want to do on it. All right, so in this case, I'm going to use this stamp. Because adulting is hard. Because adulting is hard, we need coffee, right? To get through our days. Or some kind of caffeine anyway. But I'm choosing to do the coffee stamp today. All right. And I'm going to do something very similar to this one. I am going to use, let's see, what did I do with it? Our pale papaya paper cardstock. I'm using our early espresso DSP from our neutral DSP colors. And then I'm going to cut this out and trim it, and we're going to put that right on there. And that will be the card that I will make with that. So that's how you can do a couple different watercolor techniques. Use a couple different techniques. The one where you block it and blend the colors together using the water spritzer, and embossing resist, where you use the aqua painters, and you can get 2 beautiful cards done in a very short time. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. You can get the details of both of these cards and the items that I used on my blog. So be sure to check it out, Creating Cards with Sherry at blogspot.com. Thanks for joining me today. You have a great Saturday and Sunday, and I will see you again on Tickled Tuesday. We'll get back to Tuesdays and Sundays. All right, thanks. Have a great weekend.